You know what I wanted to ask you about? I've seen this in a bunch of interviews that you've done, and you've been very open about this, that the voice of Don Dokken, and you kind of said it earlier, in the 80s is not going to be the same voice as Dokken in 2023. What I was wondering is when you perform, do you kick yourself for the fact that like every classic Dokken song from the early years has these incredible high notes that, I mean, it's just not possible to hit at this age? Do you think
Yep.
like I should have probably had some songs that where I wasn't doing these gymnastics?
Yeah, I mean, I was always trying to keep up with Ryan James Dio, Robert Halford, all these guys, the Glenn Hugheses, and all these could hit these B flats above A, these soprano notes. And I did it in the 80s. But it's kind of like, your voice is like an engine in a car. You build it, it's fresh. I'm young. You race the Indy 500 and you win. And the next year, you use the same engine and you come in third. And use the same engine the next year and it comes in sixth. Your vocal cords have miles on them. And if I would have known, yeah, if I would have known I needed to maintain this alto, you know, place I used to sing and these crazy high notes, I would have sang lower. And I've heard a million singers that I know say, if we would have known, we wouldn't have sang so high, and now it's changed. But then you look at the grunge bands in the 90s, they all sang very low.
Sure.
They sang low, not high. They almost sang in spoken word.
Probably other than Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell had some crazy high notes.
He still had it. And I just think it's a crying shame that he was so talented and doing movie soundtracks and all this stuff. Why he would commit suicide after doing his first show in Detroit, it boggles my mind. If you look at all the grunge singers from Layne to Chris to everybody, they're all dead.
Yeah.
I don't understand this whole hang yourself overdose. I don't get it. You
Yeah.
look at all the grunge bands that were huge in the 90s, all the singers are dead.
Yeah. Other than, of course, Smashing Pumpkins, who's still out there doing it.
Right. And Pearl Jam.
Yeah. Pearl Jam as well. Yeah. It is a shame.
Pearl Jam didn't sing high.
No, very
Smashing
true.
Pumpkins didn't sing high. Chris Cornell was one of my favorite singers. I mean, God, he had some just amazing vocals and he had a great sound. And when I saw that video where he played Detroit, his hometown, and said, I'll see you on tour, and yet he's got a wife and kids. He goes back to his hotel room and hangs himself. I don't relate.
Yeah.
Life is short, man. And, God, we're not born with a certificate that says, you have now been born and we promise you'll have a wonderful life. It doesn't work that way, man. You got to fight for success. You got to fight for what you want to do. You got to fight to be a musician. You got to fight to keep going. But a lot of these guys just get depression. It's genetic and they commit suicide. It broke my heart when Chris did that. And Layne and Alice in Chains and all those other bands. I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
I have depression. I'm bipolar. I'm up, I'm down. Some days I want to write a rock song, up tempo, kicking ass, just rocking. That's the mood I'm in. Then the next day, I'm feeling mopey, and I might write a song like Heaven Sent. It just depends on whatever the universe gives me. But I would never kill myself. I've got children and I've got my family, and I just don't relate to that. But, that's another story.